here for the very first time attending a Living Well in Bell? Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. How many have attended all of the Living Well in Bells? Very good. Well, I think you're in for a real treat because I'm not going to be speaking very long. You're going to be hearing from some real experts here. And what we're going to share with you tonight are the wonderful, incredible, varied opportunities we have here in little old Temple, Texas, to get fit and make active movement a part of your lifestyle. Because as Living Well Aware believes, make movement mandatory. There's every good reason to do that. And our special guests tonight are Jenna Whitaker, who is representing the Summit, Diane Fields. She works in the Department of Gastroenterology at Scott & White, and she has a wonderful story of fitness to share with you to show you how some of the keys to success, what it takes, and it's a fascinating story. I know you'll be appreciative. And Kathy Patterson, who is representing Salmons. You brought your own cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, I'm impressed. Well, she told me she's a former teacher, so I know you're going to be in timeout if you don't yell for her. So, and I want to give a word of thanks to one of our newer sponsors, the Temple Daily Telegram. How many of you here subscribe to the Temple Daily Telegram? Good. How many of you don't and will be tomorrow? The Temple Daily Telegram is a wonderful resource for our town, not only, of course, giving us a summary of world events, but it really keeps a finger on the pulse of what's happening here in Temple. So my wife and I read it daily, and in fact, it has a wonderful online edition. So even when we're traveling, I've been in Africa reading my Temple Daily Telegram because I want to keep up with what's going on here in Temple, Texas. Find out if the Wildcats won or not. But at any rate, a big thank you to the Temple Daily Telegram for supporting these efforts to promote health and wellness here in Bell County. So I want everybody to stand up because we're going to bring out Jana to start us off and show us a little bit about what making movement mandatory is all about.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Waxman. Good evening. Would you guys like to have a little bit of fun tonight? Yeah, I am all about the fun. As you know, our theme tonight is fitness for all, and we could talk about fitness or we could do some little movement snacks. Does that sound all right? Could we do like a 4-minute movement snack? I have already some friends here tonight that come to my classes. I see Sydney and Melissa and Frank and Francis, and I'm a little blinded by the light, but we like to say participation over perfection, right? And that means you can all do what you can do. So I'm inviting you to put on your participants. Pull up those participants, right? If you would like to do this seated, you may. This song is called Get Ya Hands Up. We're going to get our hands up, so if you'd like to do it seated, that will work. If you're able to stand with me, and even if you're seated, let's do this. Let's all tuck our tailbone under just a little bit. Beautiful, broadening through the collarbone. Good. All right, I want you to engage your backside, little tucking under. Oh, I see some squeezing of the cheeks. Both kinds. There we go. All right, are we ready? All right, it goes like this. I get to be my own DJ, I guess. Is it playing?
Yes, we just need the volume up.
Oh, we need the volume. Maybe we say, Mr. Music, please. There we go. All right, looks like this. All right, you're going to tuck your tail under, and then take that right hip to your right, tuck it under, and to the left. So we're shortening the distance from our rib to our hip. Very subtle movement. Keep squeezing those cheeks. You got it. Beautiful. All right, here comes the fun part. Are you ready? Everybody, hands up. Take it side, straight up. 4, 3, 2. Nice. Side and up. 4, 3, 2. Side. Hey, you're dancing at Live Well with Bell. Here we go. Hey. Nice. Okay, drop those arms. Ready? Shh. How about an exhale? To the left. Everybody, hands up, side. Straight up, 4, 3, nice. Here we go. You got it. Good. All right. Did you know your endorphins leak out through your teeth? True story. Come on. Show me the enamel. Looking good. All right. Tuck it under. Right. You can do it. This is good for our core. Strong back, strong core. Nice. Good. You can exhale. Good. Almost there. Let your heart be the answer. I like this song. My heart, open heart. Ah, nice. All right, last time. Everybody, hands up, side. Pump it up. 4, 3. You got it. Oh, looking good. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey. Give yourself a hand. Nicely done.
Was that fun? Now, where did I put my clicker? Here we go. It's important to move. In fact, physical activity is overtaking smoking as the #1 killer of Americans. We are literally sitting to death. Sitting is indeed the new smoking. And the theme that you're going to hear throughout this hour presentation is the importance of devising some way of getting off your buttocks and finding some activity you enjoy to move. We just don't move anymore. For those of us in offices, we're sitting at computers, we sit in our car, everything, we push a button and our garage door goes up. We don't even get out and lift the handle anymore. You know what I'm talking about. And that's just not good for our health. We all know this, and I love this quote. It is not enough simply to know what to do. Rather, it is essential to do what you know. And as we go through our presentation, we'll be giving you some tips and tricks to help you get started to make this a successful journey, even if you've tried to do some type of activity before or an exercise program and you somehow fell short. We're going to get you going. If someone as nerdy as me, Bel Air High School, Bel Air, Texas, class of '72, I've got my 50th reunion coming up next month, and they're not going to recognize me because back then I was a mathlete. I was not an athlete. But working out in my home gym with Dr. Shulock here, well, I put on some muscle, and I know that's incredibly important if I want to maintain a vital lifestyle and live a long, healthy, active life as long as I can, even into my 80s, hopefully 90s. So some of you may be a little skeptical and go, okay, come on, you know, really, what is in it for me? Why should I exercise? Well, there are tons of health benefits you can see here, from a reduced likelihood of dying prematurely to better control of your blood pressure, better control of diabetes. Even some cancers are less likely to pop up if you are physically fit. And you can improve your fitness, you can improve your body composition, you can improve the quality of your bone health. You'll be less likely to have problems like osteoporosis, which can lead to fractures. Your cognitive function, which is so important for me, that is all benefited by a healthy lifestyle that involves exercise. And there's fantastic news you're going to hear tonight. It is never too late to start. I'm just going to show you one article in the Journal of the American Medical Association, one of the premier medical journals in our country, which took a look at this. They looked at 315,000 men and women, and they divided them up by age. So they took the youngsters, the middle-aged people, and the oldsters, and they divided them up into different groups, and they wanted to ask a question. How likely are you to die? And how likely are you to die if you are a non-exerciser or you're an exerciser? And what do they find? Exercise works. It helps. Maintaining moderate to high amounts of exercise, we're talking 2 to 8 hours a week, which ain't that hard to do, leads to a 29 to 36% lower risk of death compared to those who are not active. The more active you are, the longer you're going to live, and the less likely you are to contract certain illnesses. Their risk of dying from cancer was cut by 16%. And good news, even if you weren't an exerciser, but you started later in life, you got benefit from this. So there is literally no excuse, whether you're 50, 60, 70, or 80, no excuse for not beginning some type of program which is suited to your particular capabilities. And if you're exercising when you're young and then you quit, you lose this benefit. So it behooves you to make this a lifelong habit. In fact, it's not really something we do, it's just part of who we are. That's the way Dr. Schulach and I look at it. Are you getting motivated? Yes. Would you like to participate in an exercise program and up your health game to another level? Yes. Well, the question is, sounds good. Jenna got us uplifted with that wonderful warm-up. I like that snack. I put on my participants, even though I can't swing my hips quite the way she does, but at any rate, I tried and it was fun. But here's a serious question. This can be inspiring, but 2 weeks from now, what are you going to be doing? Well, there's actually a study out of the English literature that looked at this very question. What does it take to get motivated? And they divided potential exercisers into 3 groups. Group 1, they said, why don't you track how much you exercise? Here's a piece of paper. When you exercise, write it down. Group 2, we're going to give you a leaflet, and it says, exercise benefits the heart. Read the leaflet. Group 3, write something down. And what they wrote down was not high-tech at all. They got out a piece of paper, and they wrote, this week, I will exercise for 20 minutes on Tuesday, name your day, at 11 o'clock in where? My living room, the Summit, Salmon's. Write it on a piece of paper. And then 2 weeks later, they looked at these 3 groups. If they said, track how much you exercise, 2 weeks later, only 1 out of 3 people were still working out. If they read the leaflet, same deal. But if they wrote it down and said, I commit to exercising on this day, at this time, in this place, 91%. 91%. So here's our first key to succeed. You really want to do this? Schedule it. Put it in your calendar, whether it's a paper calendar or a digital calendar. Put it in the schedule, and it's more likely to happen. Are there guidelines? You bet there are. The American Heart Association has come up with these recommendations. If you want to reduce the risk of chronic disease, about half an hour of moderately intense activity most days of the week, but greater benefits can be achieved by more vigorous or longer activity. What do Dr. Schulach and I do? Just about every day, that's Monday through Sunday, after we awaken and we hydrate, we exercise for about 45 to 60 minutes every day. And if we, as busy physicians, can make the time to do that, you all can too. Now, if you want to prevent weight gain, it's going to take a little longer to work out. 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity activity most days of the week. And if you want to lose weight, it's even more. And as an aside, weight loss is not accomplished merely by exercising. It also would involve careful observation of what you are putting in that oral cavity of yours. I want to mention one quick thing about something you may hear about as you learn more about exercise. Intensity is a king here. High intensity interval training, or HIIT, is something you may learn about, especially if you join us for our webinar series on health and wellness, which we'll talk about a little later. What HIIT, or high intensity interval training, is an intense burst of exercise followed by lower intensity activity. And it can be all over the map. For instance, you can be going for a walk in Lions Park, and then for maybe 30 seconds, you really kick it in gear. Or you can be on the elliptical, and after about 5-10 minutes, all of a sudden, you really up the resistance for 30 seconds. In other words, it's a brief, intense burst of activity interspersed between lower levels of activity. It actually increases the variety and it's less boring. I like it. And there's a medical benefit. It increases mitochondrial density. Mitochondria are the parts of your cells that burn energy, your body's batteries, the fuel cells. The more of these you have, the more calories you burn. Folks, we don't stop being active because we get old. We get old because we stop being active. And in fact, here's a great example. I clipped this from the Temple Daily Telegram just 2 days ago. This gentleman is 95 years old, and physical fitness is part of his lifestyle. He loves to run. He enjoys participating in senior games, and the socialization is another benefit that he derives from it. Plus, there's another health benefit. More vigorous exercise leads to a reduction in the number of zombie cells in your body, cells that are aging, that are actually causing inflammatory changes and are actually giving harm to your body because of the inflammation they cause. Exercise helps to control this population of cells so they are fewer in number and less likely to cause your body harm. How about this dude? This is John Nagy. He lives in Canada. Any guesses as to how old this young man is? 101 when these pictures were taken. And one of Dr. Shulock's favorites, Ernestine Shepard, 86 years old, couch potato in her mid-50s. She and her sister decided that wasn't for them. They took up bodybuilding. Would you like to look like this when you're 86? She's awesome. Go to YouTube. Her videos are inspiring. Couple pearls before we turn the program over to our lovely ladies. You've got to come up with your own why. Why is it worth it? Why do you want to be taking your health and wellness to a higher level? Each of us is going to have our own reason. Now, I love being energetic. I love being active. I love doing things like hiking in the Colorado mountains. I like horsing around and throwing my young granddaughters up in the air. I want to have the vigor and strength to keep on doing that as long as I possibly can. That's my why. What's yours? Here's Ernestine's mantra. I am determined, dedicated, and disciplined to be fit. How about that? Here's another pearl. If you are not exercising regularly, I don't expect you to go lifting heavy weights and pumping iron immediately. Any new program is much more likely to be successful if you take it in baby steps, small quantities. Let's just say You want to lose 20 pounds. That may be biting off a lot at the very beginning of starting an exercise and new nutritional program. Why don't you start by saying, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds? And then when you achieve that goal, then you can lose another 5 pounds and another 5 pounds. And all of a sudden, you have momentum. Baby steps, baby steps. In fact, there's a fantastic story that I read in, I can't remember the book right off the hand, but it was a gentleman who wanted to lose 100 pounds. And he was a couch potato. He didn't work out. You know what his first baby step was? Every morning for a week, he would get out of bed and put on his workout shoes. That's it. He put on his workout shoes, and that's it. But slowly but surely, by doing that, he started to change his identity. Now he's the person who puts on his running shoes every morning. Then it was, I'm the person who goes to the gym for 5 minutes. Then it's, I'm the person who goes to the gym for 10 minutes. Those are baby steps. But can you imagine if you make a slight course correction today, where you are going to be in 1 year compared to what might happen if you do nothing? He lost 100 pounds just by initiating the first baby step. We want you to start slowly. We don't want you to hurt yourself, but if you take it in small bites, then you'll be doing this. So again, we want you to be careful. But we do want all of you to get moving, and we want you to make movement mandatory. So with that introduction, Jana, share with us a little bit about your story, how you got where you got, and some of the things you think might benefit this audience about what opportunities there are in Temple, Texas at the summit. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Waxman. So I have lived in Temple with my husband, Mark, for almost 30 years. After I was raising 3 children, I had kind of a health crisis of my own. I was actually diagnosed with celiac disease, but it was a very low time in my life. I was hospitalized a couple times, was very depressed. And I talk about baby steps, just very slowly. I remember thinking, I'm going to go walk for 5 minutes. And I was so weak at the time.
Wait. You are so energetic. You are so bubbly. You were experiencing depression?
I was. If you know anything about celiac disease, it's basically malnutrition, and it affects the duodenum, the upper part of your small intestine first, so you're not absorbing any of those chemicals that give us our endorphins that make us feel good. So I started walking slowly, and I remember having goals to walk 15 minutes. And when I finally hit that goal, I was going to walk 30 minutes. And all that walking eventually did lead to running. A lot of running. And I actually qualified for the Boston Marathon twice.
Well, let's give her a hand.
Yeah, and then I found group fitness, which I love even more than running, so I don't run anymore. But I love group fitness. I think everything's better with a friend. Would you agree? So what I loved about group fitness, made friends there. I love teaching group exercise classes. We have a lot of classes at Summit that are very accessible to everybody. We like to say that, everybody belongs. So we have a beautiful senior adult class called Pilates that meets on their mat. It's a mat class, very gentle, very quiet vibe. And Lynn has been the teacher of that class for a long time. I think she's 70-some, I'm not quite sure. She does a beautiful job. And then I teach a dance fitness class called Refit. We meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My friend Lisa Walker and I also teach yoga at the Summit. Again, very all-level, beginner-friendly. So people sometimes ask me, Jana, what's the best form of exercise? And I always like to giggle and say, it's the one that you'll do. We all are wired different ways. So what do you enjoy doing? The Summit actually offers a very wide variety of classes, very affordable. I'd love to give every one of you a free class card. Tonight, I've got some out at my table if I didn't meet you on the way in. And I would love for you to, maybe that's your baby step. I'm going to come to Summit and take one class. Maybe it's cycling. Maybe you want to do kickboxing. Whatever you want, they probably are offering it at the Summit. So you're very affordable. Punch cards. Yeah.
Now, you said you took baby steps. How long did this process take from where you were to walking, say, 30 minutes or even running? What kind of timeline are we discussing here?
It was about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
So well, there is Lisa Walker. Hey!
Who's Lisa Walker? Hey,
Talk
Lisa!
about yoga instructors. These programs, what we're talking about, if you're not doing it regularly now, this is something to set your sights on. Don't be disappointed if after 1 week or after 2 weeks you're not really seeing all that much of a benefit. Where we are today is the result of a lengthy process, and it has been circuitous for a lot of us. And again, it may be trying something that you thought you might like, and then you discover it's not really your cup of tea, so you try something else. There are just so many different ways, and there's no one best exercise. As Janice said, it's the one you like to do. So I just think that the points that you're making are spectacular, to include the fact that, again, this is a really wonderful form of dealing with anxiety, depression. In some studies, the benefits are almost equivalent to other forms of therapy which are more traditional. And from our point of view, if we can find a way to help ourselves with our health that doesn't involve taking medicines, boy, this is free.
Yes, absolutely.
This is free.
Yep.
And the summit is owned by the city of Temple. So again, as Jenna was saying, the cost of utilization is very reasonable. Our tax dollars are supporting that facility, and it's just an incredible benefit that we have here in this city.
Yeah, I like to call it the best kept secret in Temple. People don't know about this summit. It's kind of tucked away, but it's in front of the Temple Civic Theater, near Temple College, off of the Loop, if you've seen it before, and a lot of varieties of membership. Some people want to join the whole summit and take advantage of all that they offer, and they have everything from a pool and childcare, pickleball, if you like to play pickleball, all the imaginable cardio equipment. But some people, like me, just really like to come in and do classes, and if you're a class person, they also sell punch cards, and you can just come in and use a punch card to take any class. And I like to tell people, if you come 3 times 1 week and then you miss for 3 weeks, you haven't lost any money, because the punch card waits and never expires, can be used for any summit class.
Wow. Well, it's possible it's the best kept secret in Temple, but Salmon's may also be
it's another.
another well-kept secret in Temple. Kathy, can you share a little bit about what there is at Salmon's? And also, you didn't begin life as a fitness instructor, did you?
No, I have to take the word expert off of that sign, because I am not an expert. I'm a retired middle school and elementary kindergarten teacher. So
Yeah.
I kind of fell into this position when I retired. I was young enough that I was eligible to be retired, but I wasn't ready to quit working. So I just took a part-time job at, actually I worked at Summit for a little bit, and then I went over to Salmon's, and I was just filling at the desk, and they asked me to cover for a chair exercise class. And I did, and then she kept missing and being out for different reasons, and so I finally said, could I just have Friday and let that be my day, and then she knows she's got a long weekend for what her events were. So I started on Fridays, a 30-minute class. We would have 8 to 12 people. I could see a need. The people were coming and doing, which was good, but it could have been so much more. They were shuffling in. They had a hard time standing, getting out of the chairs and things like that, and I'm thinking, they're not that old to be moving like this. And so I started adding a little more work to the program and sneaking things in and making them do and challenge them. And before long, they said, you need to have this class every day. And I said, I just work here. You know, I don't make those decisions. If you think this needs to change, then let somebody know. And so they did. Before I knew it, I was doing it 3 days a week. When the class got to having 90 people, we bumped it to 2 classes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we had gone to an hour-long class instead of 30 minutes. And so since then, we've been doing 2 hour-long classes 3 days a week at Salmon's, and it is a wonderful class. It's full of The people make it, the participants that come, they're here. We have a wonderful time. The first group, the 8:30 group, they come in wired, ready to go. You know, they're causing trouble. They're, you know, lots of fun back and forth, and we have a good time. And then the 10:30 class, they come in a little more laid back. You know, they've had their morning. They're a little slower starters, but they come in and we do the exact same routine, and they enjoy it, and then they warm up and start going. But the thing that I've seen is people come they've lost spouses, or they've found out they have an illness that they need to do something about, or their doctor just says, you need to get out and do something. And so I just advise them, come, you start simple. You know, you don't even have to use weights, you don't have to use bands, because we work everything from the head to the toes. We incorporate brain work, we incorporate aerobic work, we do strength training with weights and bands. And it's really, when we first started the hour, so many people would tell me after class, I saw my doctor, my numbers are down. All my numbers were down because we were doing it for an hour, and they were coming 3 days a week for an hour long. And so that's, you know, 3 hours that they're getting each week, and it just has grown from there. You'd come in, people would be sad, lonely, and then within a week or two, they're coming in with a smile on their face. They're in the middle of everything. It's affected socially and emotionally, I think, just as important as the physical aspect. And the nice thing about our group, our facility, is everybody's in the same boat. Everyone there has an issue of some type, you know, physical or mental or whatever, and nobody cares. I mean, everybody is accepted. They just participate and have a good time. Nobody cares if you can't do something because you've got a bad hip or a bad shoulder. They're right there with you. You know, you do what you can, and if you have to sit out one or two of the different exercises, fine. We have, in the second group, I think I have 4 people who are in their mid-90s that come on a regular basis. The average age of our group, it's not these people that are here, but it's probably in the 80s, you know. This is a lot younger group over here, you know, they come.
The babies.
The babies, yeah. But we have a good time, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of other classes that they offer. We have a Fit for Life where they work on core. They get on the floor and do a lot of core. We have a yoga. We have Tai Chi. My class is free. Tai Chi is free. There's no charge, just the $5 membership for a year, and you can come.
Wait, your class is free?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Thank the city. That's, you know.
That's so nice.
You know. Huh? You should be paid. I'm paid, but you don't have to pay for the class. Yeah. So we have yoga, we have Tai Chi, we have Fit for Life, we have a stability ball, aerobic kind of class where they hold the ball and do different exercises and things like that to keep the heart rate up. I also lead we call it Stick Fit. It's crazy. It's drumming on a stability ball that's in a bucket. It's a fun, happy, fast music. It's aerobic. It gets your heart rate up. It really affects your brain, trying to remember, and you're doing different things with your different body parts. You know, both arms are doing something different. That's been a lot of fun. We've really had a lot of fun with that. On Tuesdays, we have a trail group. We walk the trails in Temple. Each week, we go to a different trail and walk, and so you can see what's available. That's been the nicest thing. People don't know what the city has as far as trails and walking and hiking. And that's one morning a week, and I lead that. But oh, that's right. We do have a workout room. Thank you, Denise. We have a fitness room. It's got treadmills, elliptical, recumbent bike, a rowing machine, things like that you can do. at your own, the free weights that are there. It's good, and if anyone needs help with any of it, there's staff that'll help you get started on it. It's just a fun, happy facility. There's lots going on. We have line dancing. They have classes. I think there's one paid class, but there's 2 or 3 that are free on line dancing. There's ping pong available Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. They have 3 tables, and they're going all the time. And let's see, what else is there? Billiards. Billiards, what? Oh, we have Rusty Dusters. That's not... The Dusters are, it's a group that I lead. We go out and perform at nursing homes and facilities, assisted living, groups and clubs. Our average age in that group is in the 80s, and we're not really a dance group. We call it geriatric boogie.
That's great.
But that we perform, and these people seem to really enjoy. And we take the drumming, the stick fit drumming. Once a month we go out and share with them. I feel like we should give back the joy.
That's great.
And so
Can I ask a question? How old do you have to be to join the Salmons?
you just have to be older than 20.
Well, okay. That's all of us.
It's unofficially a senior center. It's a community center, but it's geared, our activities are geared for senior adults predominantly, but we do have people who are not in their 60s or 50s that come and participate. So what did I forget, y'all?
That's great.
I'll be 70 next month. So, and I work 5.5 hours a day, so, yeah.
So, best
Now,
year.
has physical fitness always been a part of your routine or lifestyle?
No.
No.
No. I was a tomboy. I had 3 brothers, and so I was always active as a child, but then when you start working and particularly teaching, that becomes your life. Teaching, it's all in, that's all you have time for. And then after I retired, I've always tried to stay physically fit or maintain weight control, stuff like that. But by doing these classes that I've been asked to do, it's like God kind of put me there because He knew what I needed to maintain, and it's benefited all the people that enjoy coming and being a part of it.
Absolutely.
So,
Can I tack on one more benefit
Yeah.
to group fitness? I think oftentimes we all struggle with loneliness. Anybody
Yeah.
else? I have some lonely moments, and I kind of think, I wish I was invited. I wish somebody would include me. And what I love about group fitness, guess what? You are all invited.
yeah.
You're invited. Everybody is welcome.
Yeah.
So come, find a class, try another class. So many treasures in Temple, both at the Salmons and at Summit, and I just want you to know, we want you. You belong. You are wanted and welcomed. You are
Yes.
invited.
Yes.
Wow. Well, we have a true gift here in Diane Fields, who has a story to tell. And Diane, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your fitness journey and where it started and some of the things that happened along the way, I'd really appreciate it.
So I'm Diane Fields, I'm an RN, and I had just finished my first bachelor's degree and started nursing school at the same time in 2015. And I was like y'all, when we were in high school, we all were in sports or worked out or something like that. But then, life gets in the way, and you start having kids, and you start trying to build a family, and you start working, and you're going to college. And so fitness kind of takes like a back seat, and you start worrying about everybody else instead of yourself. And so my son at the time was 3 years old in 2015, and the year before, my mom had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, stage 3C. And we didn't have any ovarian cancer in our family, and they had done everything they could, all the chemo, things like that, in 2014. And then in 2015, we had come back from a trip, and in May 2015, they told my mom that she had 6 months to live or less, and they put her on hospice. So I'd only done 1 semester of nursing school, had no idea what I was doing. And I took care of my mother the summer of 2015 while she was on hospice. And she passed away on July the 9th. And so I was devastated because my mom was a single mom, and my dad had passed away when I was 22. And so I had gone through that, and I was just too busy trying to take care of my family. I was married in 2011. He was military. His name was Christopher Fields. And my son William was 3 at the time, and 4 months later, on December the 5th, my husband was doing some military training in Killeen. And, sorry. So, they came to my door, and they told me that he was killed in a car accident, and it was probably the hardest day of my life. It's okay. And I just lost my mother, and I just couldn't even think. You just don't know what to do with yourself. You're just laying on the ground, and you're like, I don't know how to pick up the pieces. Because I hadn't even picked up the pieces for my mom. And I remember thinking, like, what am I going to do? Like, my son just has me. That's it, just me. He doesn't have a father anymore. And I want to be around for him for as long as I can. I want to see him grow up and go to college and see see grandchildren and have them home for Christmas. And I decided I'm going to go start working out. I got to take care of myself. I got to take, control of my health and fitness, and I've got to be there for him. So I started working out again, and I would go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, and I'd lift weights. And I don't care what they tell you, you will not get big and bulky if you lift weights. But that was my motivation for me. It wasn't, so some people, you don't want to do it for you, but if you have a friend or you have a reason, like my son was my reason. I wanted to be there for him. And sometimes it's not just about doing it for yourself, but doing it for somebody else because you want to be there for them. And, I used to have lots of gym partners here and there, and sometimes I didn't want to get up in the morning and go early, but I'd get up and go for them. And so I think it's just about finding the motivation or finding somebody or finding something that you love that will drive you to get motivated to do those things. And as she mentioned, when she had celiac, 90% of serotonin's made in the gut. So what you put in here affects your mental. I never had to get put on depression drugs or anxiety drugs. I didn't have to go to counseling. Yes, I went to church, and that helped heal the spiritual part of me, but I let fitness heal the rest of me. Both mentally and physically, I was able to, it was my therapy. I'd go in there every day, and even if I didn't want to go, I went because I was like, I got to get healthy for my son. And my son's 10 years old. He weighs 75 pounds, and if he falls asleep on the couch, I can still carry him up the stairs to bed. And he's not much. And he's not much shorter than me. He's almost as tall as me. And so it makes me feel good that I did it for him, and I hope that y'all can all find a reason every day that you don't always have to do it for you, but do it for somebody else. You want to be around for them. You want to see your kids grow up. You want to hold your grandchildren. You want to be able to run around in the yard with your family and be able to do all those things and travel and just get out in the world and see all the things and do all the things you didn't get to do when you were younger. Because now you have the time, and it's time to take care of yourself because you've lived your whole life taking care of everybody else. So I hope that it motivates you a little bit more. And I was talking to Dr. Waxman yesterday when he called me. He was telling him why, fitness is, he was mentioning about the small goals, and that's what I did. I didn't say, I want to lose 30 pounds. That would be a crazy goal for me at the time. I was like, I'm just going to go to the gym, and I just want to lose 5 pounds. And I didn't weigh myself every day, because that's the worst thing you can do. I would weigh myself on a Wednesday, so if I had a bad weekend, a couple days of being good, I would see if if there was a change in the scale, but I didn't really focus more on the number. I focused more on how I felt, how my clothes fit, how I felt. I would sometimes just drag myself to the gym, and every time I left, I just felt so good that why did I just not just get in here and do this? I did, and you don't have to, and I don't always do cardio, but you have to find what you like. Mm-hmm. And I lift weights, and I like building muscle, and the reason I can maintain my weight is because for every pound of muscle you have, you burn an extra 50 calories a day just sitting on the couch. Okay? So, that's why these bodybuilders, they go from working out 4 to 5 days a week, and they can maintain their weight with working out less. So, to me, it's just one of those things that helps with your mental health, and you feel good about yourself, and you can drop your blood pressure. Like, my blood pressure dropped. Like, it was just amazing. My good cholesterol went up, and my bad cholesterol went down. Not that it was ever a problem, but it was nice to see a change that, other than just the scale. But I felt good about myself, and I can go outside and play soccer with my son and keep up with him. And sometimes he wears out before I do. So it's kind of nice sometimes that you're like, I'm still in the game. you know? So I hope that y'all can find a reason besides just, you know, just getting in the gym and, oh, I want to just work out, but find a reason, something that will light a spark and a fire in you to get out there and be like, I want to do this, I want to be healthy, I want to live as long as I can. We don't want to add more pills to the pile, we want to take them off. And fitness is one of the starting ways that you can do that for yourself. So anyways, I hope that was
Thank
motivational.
I do have a couple of questions. First of all, I guess, I think you mentioned to me, and we all understand this, that your fitness routine is important, but you also watch what you eat, correct?
Correct.
Can you share a little bit about what you don't eat?
I stay away from sodas. I usually buy like the sweetened sodas at H-E-B, so we don't do sodas. Maybe if we go out or something, maybe I'd have a soda, but it's like a rare thing. I usually eat lots of vegetables and fruits. They're delicious, lots of protein. That's how I stay full at work. I mean, we get a 30-minute lunch. You know how it is at the hospital, so you're lucky if you get lunch sometimes. So lots of protein to keep you full, helps maintain the muscle that you have. A lot of times I eat healthy yogurts for gut health. You know, I work in GI, so I mean, I'm all about the guts. So the guts are important. People don't realize that's your immune system. That's your, you know, like I said, it produces serotonin. It's good for your mental health. So what you put in your body is a reflection of how you feel. And it can affect all the aspects of your life, whether you believe it does or not. And like she said, when she had celiac, she was depressed. And a lot of that has to do with her gut health. And so I do like probiotics and lots of vitamins and things like that. But guess what I don't do a lot of? Lots of other medications. Because I've been able to get off of a lot of things like high blood pressure. When my husband passed away, I obviously developed high blood pressure from stress and things, and lots of acid reflux from stress. And I was able to get off of all my medications that I thought I'd have to take for the rest of my life. So it was very eye-opening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give all of these three ladies a wonderful hand. First of all, I really appreciate your taking time to share all of your stories. It's just illuminating to me, first of all, how many wonderful resources we have here in Temple, Texas, that I had no clue about. From Tai Chi to chair exercises to Pilates to all of the things that you do at the summit. We have all these choices. It's an incredible smorgasbord. And none of us were fitness freaks from the get-go. All of us developed fitness as part of our lifestyle actually later in life and integrated it into our lifestyle so that, again, it's part of who we are. It's not just something that we do. And developing that identity as someone who utilizes physical fitness for health and wellness is a key. And in fact, that leads me, if I can find my clicker, which I keep on losing, to share with you, if you want to learn more, not just about physical fitness, but taking your health to another level, here is one opportunity that you might consider. My lovely wife, Dr. Patricia Shulock, some of you may know her, and I will be conducting a webinar series that begins on October 4. This will be approximately once a week, and we will conduct this on Zoom. You don't have to get in your car, you don't have to drive to the CAC, although Living Well and Bell will also continue with wonderful presentations, but we will be presenting on Zoom for a roughly hour, hour and a half, almost every week starting October 4. If you can't make our evening weekly meeting, these will be recorded. And for a few days after that, you can view the recording before it's taken down. So you don't have to be absolutely positively there live every week. There are going to be 13 sessions, and we will wind down by the end of the calendar year. And some of the things that have been touched on today will be the topics of our discussion. All aspects of health and wellness that we can think of, from what you take in, a healthy food plan, and a wonderful process within our bodies called autophagy that you will learn about. You can actually recycle yourself, get rid of the trash, and keep the good stuff. What is the role of fasting in health and longevity. We'll talk more about fitness. We'll talk about a very huge subject that is at the root of most diseases, inflammation. We'll also talk about meditation and what we can do for our mental health and our spiritual health. We'll talk about the incredible importance of sleep. And I'm a convert. I used to be thinking that sleep is optional. No more. We'll explain why in our webinar and give you some tips on how to think about improving your sleep health. We'll talk about emotional health. We'll talk about cancer prevention, blood sugar control, and a heck of a lot more. Now, this webinar series is $145. We have a special deal today. If you sign up today, the book that Dr. Schulach has written on the 11 essential elements to health and happiness will give you that. We'll give you a detailed workbook that goes into the weeds describing how you can implement what we'll be talking about during the webinars. And we'll also give you a journal so you can document for 1 year the journey you take as you become healthier, happier, and fitter. So that opportunity is available, and if you have any questions about that, we'll be back at the back table at the conclusion of this program so we can answer your questions. So, if you're interested, I suggest you consider getting registered. Any profits that we make from this are going to be thrown back into our wellness program. Specifically, a wellness program we're developing for adolescents, which will be utilized by public schools and private schools throughout Texas, if they so desire, to bring these messages to 6th, 7th, 8th graders and high schoolers. So we are not profiting, if you will, from this. We're going to use this just to promote this health message. And with that, I'm going to open the program to any questions. Any one of our experts here will be happy to answer them. Feel free to step up. And Holly, I guess if you have a microphone, if you want to pass it to somebody who has a question. Would anyone like to ask any questions about what we've had to talk about tonight?
Great presentation, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the ladies as well. Is there a family program for that Zoom thing? I mean, the wellness?
I'm sorry, repeat. Is there a family program, did you say?
I mean, for my wife and I, is it $145 each?
Dr. Schulach? Yes. Talk to Dr. Schulach at the end of the program.
Great, thank you.
Get everybody in front of the computer. Your family, neighbors, get them all there. What registration?
I'd share the account, yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Well, first of all, I want to honor each and every one of you for taking the time to come today. There are plenty of things you could have done with your evening this evening, but you chose to come here. You chose to come support our presenters. You came to learn more about what you can do to improve your lives, and that's what we're all about. And I really want to thank the Temple Community Clinic for bringing Living Well and Bell to this audience. I want to thank the Cultural Activities Center for sponsoring us as well and hosting this in a fantastic space. And of course, you may be aware the CAC has far more to offer than just health and wellness programs. There are several music series. The Central Texas Orchestral Society will be here over the weekend. There are all types of arts programs. Go to the Cultural Activity Center website and you can learn much, much more. We have, as I said before, incredible resources in Temple, and part of what's going on here, nobody knows about. You've got to explore. So again, thank you all for coming. We'll be at the tables to answer questions, as will these ladies. Again, thanks for coming.